Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? So people were sending me messages saying that Mike Perez is back, and what do I think of his opponent? Or actually, not even about his opponent, just people saying that he was back, and who should be some of his opponents after this fight. So I went to BoxRec just to see who he's fighting, and as soon as I seen the name of who he's fighting, man, my antennas automatically went up. Now, I know a lot of you are going to look at, hey, he's fighting some guy named Avery Gibson, who has a record of 8 wins, 5 losses, and 4 draws. It should be easy work, and Mike Perez can, get some of these fights under his belt and get back to action, okay? Before I get to his opponent, some people argue that he hasn't been the same since that fight in 2013 that he had with, what's the dude's name? What's the Russian kid that went into a coma? Magomed, forgot his last name, man. But he's promoted by Warriors Boxing down there in Florida, the Russian kid. They fought on HBO, and it was a good fight, man. It's kind of hard saying that because of what happened to that kid in the ring, but as far as the action in the fight, it was an entertaining fight. Perez, Cuban fighter, moved out to Ireland. I like his story. You know what I mean? That was 2013. He had that fight, and he's shown that possessed some good counter punching skills. Some people think he's a little bit too heavy, because when he left Cuba, he put on about 40 pounds within a year. But he seems to fight well at that 230, 240 range. Sometimes he can balloon up. It's weird with his weight. One fight he'll weigh 231. The next time you see him, he's like 244. You know what I mean? So it's whatever he's comfortable at. But sometimes when you're fighting and you're putting on weight and you're losing weight and you're putting on weight, you can get injured very fast doing stuff like that, man. But anyways, people feel as if the Takam fight they had at a draw. I thought Takam won that fight pretty clearly. Then he lost to Jennings. Then he did have a victory against Darnell Wilson, the Dingaling man, an old Darnell Wilson, TKO victory. And then he got knocked out in he got stopped in the first round against Povetkin. So, I mean, arguably, man, you could say that his last 4 fights since that Magomed fight, that he lost to Takam. He did have a real loss to Jennings. And the loss to Povetkin, you could say he lost his last 3 out of 4. You know what I mean? To be honest with you. But officially, he has, since that fight 2013, he has 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 draw. All right, now to Avery Gibson. Like I said, you'll look at the record and you'll say, yeah, this guy doesn't offer much. Perez should win this fight, right? I'm gonna go with the upset, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, first of all, if I have a fighter, if I'm managing a fighter or I'm promoting a fighter, and I see my fighters getting ready to fight a guy like Avery Gibson, Jamal Woods, who else can I think of? John Bolden. Did I mention Juan Good? Like those type of guys, man, who are real tricky type of fighters. Avery Gibson. First time I seen him was in World Series of Boxing. He was fighting Junior Fa. I've done a lot of videos on Junior Fa, the 8-0 New Zealand prospect, who's about 6'6", 260 pounds, who was 8-0 as a pro right now. I've seen Gibson have success in World Series of Boxing as far as just the in-ring and what he's doing and the experience that he picked up. He's been the head sparring partner for Deontay Wilder the last few camps. The lead sparring partner too, not just the guy in the camp, but the lead sparring partner. Very articulate guy, man. When he's breaking down boxing, I seen him on the Boxing Voice. Shouts out to them interview, and he was explaining how he spars Deontay and how he tries to make Deontay fight off his back foot and getting around Deontay's jab and getting under his jab and knowing how to penetrate that jab and get on the inside and moving his head and just knowing how to spar with Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? So that's one thing that he's getting excellent sparring. Excellent sparring. He's savvy. He's a patient fighter. He has experience. He has good feet, good balance. He can be aggressive. He's a stocky built guy, so I don't see Perez physically being able to intimidate Avery Gibson at all. Gibson is, like I said, he fought Junior Fa in the World Series of Boxing, who had about 4 inches and 20 pounds on him, and he spars Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? Like, he's used to being there with big guys. So somebody his size, I don't see him having any issues with. To be honest with you, he's never been knocked out. He only has 2 KO victories, so I don't expect him to KO Perez. This fight is scheduled for next month. I can see Perez losing this fight, man, on points, or it be a draw or just something like that. Now his losses, Michael Hunter Jr., who's an undefeated, I believe Hunter. He fights at cruiser and he fought a few fights at heavyweight. He was a really good U.S. national fighter here in the U.S. Hunter, I believe he's out at Mayweather gym. His father was a fighter back in the day too, Michael Hunter Sr., very entertaining cruiserweight back in the day. But and and Gibson usually pushes guys to the decision. Bogdan Dinu, I believe he lost to him. Dinu, I've done videos on, another undefeated prospect. He beat Yatoli Pereira, who represented Ecuador in the Olympics. I believe he beat Dominic Brazil that year. I can't remember, man, but I know Pereira was Olympian. Pereira just had a draw with Joey Daweko. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be easy, man. It's just not going to be an easy fight. Like, just go and look up Avery Gibson, watch his World Series of Boxing against Fa. Go on the internet, look at the sparring footage with Wilder. Just, it's not going to be easy, man. It's just not going to be an easy fight. Just based on styles, Gibson can show you different looks. He's not just a one-dimensional guy where he's going to just come forward or just go backward. Good balance, good footwork. He's a thinker in the ring. He's going to make it hella tough for Mike Perez, especially coming off of all these subpar outings that he's had over the last 3 years. Besides his win against Darnell Wilson. There's no Darnell Wilson. I mean, Darnell Wilson was, on top of his shit about 12 years ago, but this is no Darnell Wilson at this stage, at least. You know what I mean? So, like I said, man, when your fighters get in there and like Juan Good, right? Juan Good is a guy who's 6-4 with 5 KOs and never been knocked out. He's the guy that knocked down Zhang Jili, the Chinese undefeated prospect who I've done videos on. Jili has another fight coming up where it might be iffy for him too. A lot of these prospects are getting there with some of these guys where you guys look at their record and say, oh, he should win that fight easy. He might win the fight, but it most likely will go decision. You know what I mean? But Juan Good is another guy that went the distance with Ed Lattimore, who just fought Trey Lippe Morrison, got knocked out in that fight. But Lattimore was undefeated prior to the Lippe Morrison loss. Joey Abel, Juan Good has went the distance, wins. Abel has good power. Abel just beat John Wesley No Fire, who was a 19-0 prospect. You know what I mean? John Bolden is a guy who's 8 wins, 10 losses, and 1 draw. I know he lost. His only knockout loss was to Brian Jennings. It was his second fight as a pro, and it was also Jennings' second fight as a pro. But John Bolden usually he takes all the guys he's been in there with pretty much the distance. I know he fought Dorset Barnwell, a guy who I've done videos on a few times. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Just sometimes I'll be kind of nervous for my guy to get in there because these are the type of guys that can make your prospect look very average. They have the tendency to do those type of things. Jamal Woods is another guy who has a real, I believe Woods has like 9 wins or something, like 20 something losses, but he's another guy that will take, he took Trevor Bryan the distance, Nick Asbury, Ed Lattimore, a few guys. I can't name everybody. He took a few guys, man. He actually, I thought he beat Tayshawn Dong, to tell you the truth. I thought Jamal Woods beat Tayshawn Dong, and I thought Juan Good beat Zhang Jili, the 2 Chinese prospects. But I don't know, man. I seen Avery Gibson on the schedule, so I'm not sure Mike Perez wins this fight. Now, some of you may say, oh, Perez, when he gets these type of fights, I mean, not Perez, but when Gibson gets these type of fights, he's shown that he loses these Mr. Boxing or he gets a draw. So why do you think he'll beat Perez? Like I said, he's in excellent shape. He's been in good camps. He's getting good sparring, and he has that experience. And I think he may be catching, or you can look at it like Gibson's catching Perez at the right time, or Perez is catching Gibson at the wrong time. just my opinion. I'm curious to see the result of this fight. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm just looking at this as if I was a manager and I was managing Perez. I would be kind of nervous going in with Gibson. Again, I'm not trying to make Gibson out to be a top 10 heavyweight, but he's just one of those type of guys where the record can be a little deceptive. He may not carry huge knockout power, but like I said, he's savvy, he's patient, experienced. He has good balance, good skill set. I've seen him fight with his hands down, yes, against lesser opposition. And Perez is a very good counter puncher, good combination puncher when he has it rolling. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. I just don't think right now. I just don't think Perez is going to just have his way with Gibson. Now, some people may argue, oh, Gibson may have this. And I've heard people say this before that really, guys who are really good in sparring sometimes fall into a sparring partner mentality. I've heard that before, but I guess we'll see, man. I guess we'll see. So Perez versus Gibson, I believe it is. Man, when is that fight? I know it's next month, sometime in December. I don't know the date exactly, but you guys let me know what you think, man. I'm out.